Well, plan C. Let's try, we're going to do trail 18 again today and see if I can actually get up there with no bear encounters today. So I'm back down in the Sheep Valley, going to head up the road here in just a second, cross over and up the bank, and I'll show you where I'm going. I've got some deer heading up where I'm going. Right, when you come across here, you'll come across a cattle grate, and in Kananaskis style, turn up at the second white post. But I've come to the conclusion the second white post is actually not there. But I'll show you where you head up. It's nice out along here, isn't it? Ooh, the road's starting to break up. Okay, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, two whitetail just gone up in there. Right, there's a post. You can kind of see there isn't really much of a trail up there. That's where I just come from. Nice, isn't it? Right. So what you're going to do if you're looking for 18 is there's a white post there. There isn't really an actual decent tread up here, but you can kind of see one down here, and I'll show you where that is. That bank right in front of me there, that's where you're going to head up. So gonna be a hot day. Yeah. It's kind of a tread up here, you can kind of see it. Yeah, doesn't get a lot of use, which is why I always try to use it if I can. Helps keep it squashed in there. Right, when you come up here, oh, this deer just took off up through there. Then come along the top of the bank, you'll see my piece of red tape here, and just past this red tape you can head into the trees. This was the old road here. Right, over a couple of logs, next bit of red tape, and you're going to follow this up and around. It'll take you up over a fence, and you'll find a whole bunch of bones hanging out of trees and stuff up here. I'll show you that when I get up there. Right, let's head up through here, see where those deer went. As you come up through the trees, you'll come to a little bit of a rise. It's a well-trodden trail here. Just a lot of people don't know it's here. That's why I'm doing this video. Oh, some of the bones fell out the tree. Let's hang that one back up. Put that back in the tree. There we go. There's a whole bunch of them up here. There's bones here, all kinds. Right, just up ahead of you, you'll see a gateway. Go through that gateway and straight across, and you'll be back into the old road. Right, as I mentioned in my last video, when I was here last week, there's a very nice gorge across here, hence the name. Yeah, Gorge Creek. There's a nice waterfall down there too. You can't cross here. If you do the big loop around and come back on trail 20, you'll come back over on the top of that hill right over there. But what a glorious day. I can already feel it's going to be a warm day. I've brought several layers with me. I've got a feeling it's going to be a warm day. Going to be shedding a bunch, I think. Yeah. Yes. Nice view just as you start the trail, and I'm going to head up here a little bit, get back onto the trail I was on before, and hopefully my buddy the bear is not there this week. He was there last week. So we'll get back on the trail, which is that way. This is facing roughly northish, so I'll head up here. to make sure Head Bear's not here this week. If he's there this week, then I'm really not meant to do this trail. Right, let me make a lot of noise and I'll get back to you in a moment. Just on a chest mount here. Wakey wakey run shine! Because this is where I had that bear encounter last week. Wakey! Yeah, I got to about here and the bear was just across here in these trees in front of me. So, wakey wakey run shine! There's a lot of noise today. Yeah, he was literally just up the top of this bank right in front of me. Wakey wakey, rise and shine. I don't hear anything, so let's go and have a look. Unfortunately, I have to get down in a bit of a hole before I can get up the other side, which limits my view, which is a pain. Yeah, he was at the top of this bank, so I'll take it wide. Put it this way, if he's still there after making all that bloody racket, I'm in trouble anyway. So, wakey wakey run shine! Right, don't hear anything, don't see anything. That's good. Right. Down there, down that way, that's trail 20. You can come back that way. Up through here, this is where he was, just in these trees here. So, now funny enough, previous year, up across here, I found a big bear digging. Wakey wakey rise and shine! It's making a lot of noise. Yeah, he was just in these trees here, literally right in front of me. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get this far last week. Yeah. No sign of any diggings or anything. There's no bones over there. Normally the crows and birds and that will let you know if there's anything there. Yeah. Right, so this is 18. Comes across here. Some signs in the trees here. What does that say? 18? Yeah, that way. So, yes. So, came up across that into the forest here. Right, I'll do some more when I get going. Right, as you come up the other side of that bank, you'll come to a bit. There's a whole bunch of downed alders. There was one there that was a bit high to get over, so I cut that out. Whew. Warms you up first thing in the morning. Right, I think I might just whip that one out of there as well. Since I'm here, might as well just get that one off the trail. Done and dusted. One more out the way. Yeah. Somebody cut that out too. I remember these from last year. I had to walk across quite a lot of these. So somebody else has been up in here. This wasn't me. Yeah, somebody else cut that. But if we all cut a little bit, just makes it easier to follow. Now just up here, the trail is going to split here in a minute. When you get to here, you'll see a good trail going that way. That's a cow trail. I'm not quite sure where that goes, but the one you want for 18 is that way. Right, on I go. Well, that scared the crap out of me. Just up here in the bushes, right up through there's a grouse. And as soon as I started cutting, just cutting this log off, it started the wing flapping thing. That crap. Sometimes you can make them do it. Go on, do it again. That woke me up, I tell you. Right, I'll see if I can catch him doing it again. Hang on. You'll find on trail 18 there's a lot of these little steppy over bits. These I ain't too worried about. Yeah. Thing is with this stuff, it hits the ground, it rots away pretty fast. Look at this, very much to it. Now this is an important piece because you've got to go down a big hole and up the other side. So wake the rods shine. Again, make a bit of noise, make sure there's nothing down in the hole. Yeah, I cleared out a whole bunch of this alder on here last year. This was all caked up in alder all the way down here. But I cleared all that up. Had some deer down in here. Yeah, recently though, look at it. Yeah, this was all full of alder last year. So looks like that stayed pretty good. We'll take that. Now I have my welly boots on today because further up this trail there is, unfortunately, yes, you do have to go up that bank. Yes, yeah. Further up this trail there might be some wet bits. So you'll find several little creek crossings like this down in here. In welly boots, it is not a problem at all. The ice under there still. Yeah. Yes, unfortunately do have to go up there, but it's very easy to follow. There's only one trail in, one trail out. Unfortunately, it is a little steep. And the other unfortunate thing is you can't see the top of the hill. You're going up a blind hill like this, always a good idea to make some noise. Yes, that's where I just come down through there, come down that slope. I've got to go up this one. Right, I'll do some more when I get to the top. So I just came down that trail over there, through the bottom, up this steep bit. At the top of the steep bit, it's a very nice view. This was all full of cows last time I come up here. And then they stampeded up the valley. Once you get to the top of the hill, basically bear around to the right for a little bit, and you want to head that way. Right, on I go. Right, a couple more awkward ones. Just get those off the trail. This stuff is heavy. It doesn't look heavy, but I can assure you it is. Right, good old silky saw works its magic. Let me get rid of those. Done and dusted. On to the next ones, which I have no doubt won't be too far up here. Be coming up to a big meadow here in a minute, which is always very nice. I don't normally like to cut trees that are dangling across there, snapped out of there somewhere, but it was right across the trail and it was literally just hanging up by tiny little bits. Would have taken very little if somebody had walked under there and just pushed it with their hand. Literally I pushed it with my stick and it fell off. So I cut it off. It's out the way, the bits over there. Not fall on nobody now. That's the only trouble with this alder stuff. It's very brittle wood. It's not good quality wood, that's for sure. And this whole forest is absolutely full of it, which is vital. Actually, it's part of the forest, but it when you get one hanging over a trail like that, it's not a bad idea to move it. Right, on I go that way. Right, just come up the trail that way. Fair few little bits to clear off. You'll come across a muddy bit here, but you can easily step up over the side here and that. Real easy. Right, up here. Kind of braids left and right here. Basically, keep this way. Yeah. Oh, I can really tell that the weather is warming up. It's going to get really warm today. Right, I will continue on up that way until I come to any other important intersection or whatever that you need to see. Right, I'm just coming up to what I call the nice meadow. I've seen bears up in here before now. They're going to make some noise. Wakey, wakey! Get that to echo up the valley here a bit. As the sun's up, so are the bears. There's everything else actually. It's a good idea when you're coming into a meadow, as I've said many times before. Let things know that you're here. And this is an amazing meadow. This is one of the highlights of this trip. I love this meadow. Yeah. Wake roads short. Like I say, I have seen black bear up in here before now. So make a bit of noise. Last time I come up here, just down in these bushes right here, there was a big black cow in there. Whoa, and I got to about here and I suddenly looked over and I saw this great big black shape literally about 40 feet away. I thought, bugger. Nope, it was just a cow. Yeah. Right, where you're heading, in case you're not sure, because this trail goes into it and then it hits all this mess here and then it kind of disappears. Where you're heading is straight across there into those aspens right in front of you. Wake, road shine! I'm doing a lot of shouting in this valley because, like I say, I have seen black bear in it down in here before now. They don't tend to bother you. Once they know you're there, they have no interest in people whatsoever. So I do have to kind of travel up across to there. But isn't this a nice spot, eh? Bloody lovely down in here, isn't it? I love this meadow. It's brilliant, isn't it? I'm not sure, this might have been some old logging site at some stage. They might have had a mill in here or something. The other side of that hill in front of me, if you go over the other side of there, that's trail 19 is the other side of that one. So we've had some more aspen down in here over the winter. I don't tend to clear it off bits of trail like this because this is a cattle trail. If you can't find your way across this meadow, shouldn't really be here. It's not a difficult one to follow across. Just going to head into those trees up over there. Just try not to trip over too many of the branches like I'm doing. Yeah, I am talking a lot because, like I say, I have seen bear down in here before now. So I will do some more when I get to the trees the other side. Alright, far side of the meadow. And this is a great spot, eh? Be a good camping spot. You want to stay away from these bloody trees though. Yeah, these things snap like carrots. Get a good gust of wind. Look at it, there's bits of them everywhere. These things, they're very fast growing. They're a pioneer tree. They're vital for the forest because the decaying wood is home for everything. But, gotta be a little bit careful. Camping near that stuff. Like I say, all down through the bottom of there, that was all full of bloody cows last time I came here. Farmer up in there needs to paint his cows like pink and orange or something. There's the ones that tend to be up in here, hence all the cattle crap, they tend to be jet black, and that's they're not always the easiest thing to see. So I'm going to head up this way, follow the trail up, and do some more in a bit. Oh, quite a few in this little section. Cleared those out. This is why the aspens are so important. No way to bracket fungus is into that wood already. I'll just cut another couple of 2 or 3 off here. Yeah. Get these off of here. Yeah. Like I've said in my other videos, I can't clear all of them, but I can certainly make a little bit of it. That one there in the middle, I cut that last year, ironically. Now here I am, cutting more trees in the same spot. Right, that's 3 or 4 more off the trail. I see another couple down this way, see what I can do with those. Right, there's one section up here. It's got lots of little downfall on it. I've been clearing lots of them off. There's loads of cut ends, so it's easy enough to follow it through, but as you can see, this is where the cows come to. Yeah, there's plenty of markers and bits. There's about 50 million different pieces of trail come through here, but if you look, it's fairly easy to find your way through it. Yeah. Right, gonna head on up through that way. You can see a piece of my red tape actually from last year just up there in the tree. Right, I will clear that up piece off of there and we can go from there. Right, this is an important turn off. You can go left or right here. These people down here, these are the first people ever that I've seen on these trails up here. They actually come up the steep bit and then they're coming back this way. They're the first people I've ever seen on these trails, ever. So when you get to here, you come to a Y junction. If it looks straight on, looks like a really good trail, but it does actually get wet. It will take you up to the cut line. If you look just to your right, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of trees being cut out of here. Somebody come up here a couple of years ago with a chainsaw, thank goodness, because I ain't cutting these, too many, and cleared all these out. So when you get to this point, you'll see a really good trail along the bottom. That will take you up to the cut line, and it's a bit wet up in there, but you're actually better off just bearing off to the right. It looks like you're going the wrong way, but you're not. You're actually heading up straight up towards the cut lines, just up around this corner. So I'll see what I find when I get there. And here I have a perfect example of knowing what to cut and when not to. I just cut this little one out here, and there's another one right there, and I think, oh yeah, I could cut that out. But if you look next to it, touching it, all the way up there, probably 100 feet, 80 to 100 feet I guess, is a dead, absolutely rot as a turd tree. And if I move that bottom one, there's a very good chance that top one's coming out because it's just hung up in the top. So sometimes when you're clearing trail, it's a good idea to know when not to touch a tree, and that is exactly a tree not to touch. Right, I will carry on my way. Right, well that's the top end of trail 18. It's nice to see it's all stayed pretty well cut back. I cut all this alder back last year, cleaned all this up because it was almost impossible to see this junction. The only reason I spotted it is I could see the little blaze over there on the tree. So what I did last year is I cut a tree like this with a gap in it, just so people can see it. The markers there, just straight down. There's a little tiny wet piece just down in the bottom there, but that's just a hop, skip and a jump over. That's real easy. This brings you out on the cut line. This has stayed cleared back quite nicely actually. You hardly see anything on this junction last year. And that tree that's across the trail down there, you couldn't even see it from here. I cleared all this brush out on the side here, cut it right back. Now, where I have to go, unfortunately, is right up that hill. Those people that I just bumped into, they just come down that way. So they said there's a lot of deadfall up through here, so I'm going to have to get several tools out, I think, and see what I can do. But I have to head up that way, all the way up that hill. That's a bugger, eh? Right, on I go. Right, like I say, that's trail 18 turn off, and I'm heading up that way. I've just been trying out these loppers here. They go through this stuff like butter, literally straight through it like it's nothing. Yeah, I do have my little nippers with me, but it's apparently there's quite a lot of deadfall and garbage up this cut line, so I will have to keep a bunch of tools out. So I'm not sure how much video I'll do up here because I've got to cut a lot of this out. Right, on I go. Right, with that little bit done, on I go to the next one. Up there, all the way up that hill. Right, this actually doesn't look too bad up through here. Yeah, doesn't look too bad at all. Having said that, there's quite a lot of alder up through this next piece here, so I think I will put this camera away until I've munched my way up through that lot. Right, have a little bit done, 50 feet at a time. I've only got to go all the way up to the top of that hill, right there. That's all. But actually look, there's a clearer bit coming up, so that shouldn't be too bad. This piece up through here doesn't look too bad, so I might be good. Might be able to put my loppers away in a minute, that'd be good. Right, I shall continue on up the hill. Well, I can honestly say I've given up trying to clear a decent trail up through here. The bits of trail that you can see, there's the cut line, goes way off up in the distance there. The bits of trail that you can see, I've cleared those so that people still use them. But basically this cut line is seriously overgrown. I've got to go a long way up yet, so I'm going to put my loppers back in my pack because they're heavy to carry, and I'm going to head up the hill that way. Wow, this is quite the elevation gain. As I've said in many of my videos before, cut lines are a pain in the ass because they just go in a dead straight line, uphill, down dale, doesn't matter. Whew. I've just had to lose a layer. So I started down there, it's really steep. See the mountains in the distance, that looks quite nice. Just trying to picture which ones those are. Looks like Blue Rock, I guess. Blue Rock should be that way. Yeah. Right, that's the good news. I'm here. I can tell you now, see if I can get this camera as level as I can. It gives you an idea of how steep this bloody hill is. And I've still got to go all the way up there yet. So I don't think I'm going to do any more video until I get to the top, because I am absolutely knackered. Right, the observant ones amongst you will notice I'm doing a lot of photography breaks, aka stopping for a rest. Holy crap. My kit's only about 25-30 pounds today, all my tools and what have you. But that's a lot coming up that hill. From where I turned off to the top of this hill is approximately 600 meters straight up. I kid you not. But if I'd have gone up the other side of the trail, let me just get out of this sun. Right, I'm at the top of the hill, almost. I can see exactly why people have trouble finding this trail down, the cut line. Because from here, right, so if I stand here, you can see absolutely nothing. I know I'm right at the top of the hill, and I know I need to turn off. But if you're coming along the top of the hill, this is what you see. It's not until you get to here that you can actually see the cut line. So I totally see why people lose this trail at the top. Now, somewhere here, I'm going to explore right up to the top, because somewhere here apparently there is a turn off, and somebody did tell me there's some flagging up here. So I will see if I can find it. Right, on I go. Yes, this explains the confusion. I'm right at the top of the hill now, and I know I have to go that way, so I've got to find my way up there in a minute. But if you stood here, you can see nothing. So I have put a little bit of tape out, and there's your cut line. But you're only going down into the bottom of that, about 600 meters down. And I can tell you now, going down that 600 meters would be much more pleasurable than just coming up it, I can tell you. Oh my God. For some reason, I'm not as young as I used to be. When I was younger, I used to be like 20. Now I'm like 3 20s, all in a row, and some. So, someone did tell me that this is technically Gleason's Ridge, by the way, if you're not sure where this is. And 17A, so there's some old blazes on the trees. I keep finding them. Somebody's actually blazed these trees. So somewhere here off to my side, I need to go that way. Now, Gleason's Ridge, oh, somebody put some rocks here. Gleason's Ridge, all the way along to the end, is, I know for a fact, that way. So when you get to here, there's a little cairn there. So somewhere off up through this way, I don't want to start descending that way, because that will take me down into like Death Valley, Foreign Grade and all that kind of stuff. I know I need to go that way. So I will see if I can find some indications of humanism and go that way. Let's see what I can find. Right, so this is the top of the cut line. As I was just saying, Gleason's Ridge is that way. And I just piled up the rocks again there for people. And I couldn't see the trail. Right? So I can see exactly why people get this wrong. Because here, the cut line is completely overgrown. I have put a little bit of flagging tape down there. And actually I might put one more piece there. It's hard to see. But I couldn't see the turn off to 17A. But there it is, right there. It was hiding behind the trees, I couldn't see it. Right, so this is, you've just come up the cut line that way from trail 18 up the cut line, and you're going to go back 17A. 17A is this way. Right, on I go. Right, so that's all cleared up for a bit. I don't need to clear up anything there. That is actually the cut line, believe it or not. Just round that corner, it turns into very steep. Yeah. Right, let's make sure I've left nothing behind. So this is 17A, get out the sun. There we go, this is 17A. Heading back down and up over the top. Should get some nice views over the top of here. But apparently there's a lot of deadfall. That couple I was just talking to, first people I've ever seen on this trail, they said there's a lot of deadfall up here, so not sure how much of that I'm going to be able to deal with, but I will do what I can. On I go. Right, so at the top of this hill I've already found 3 trails that go in 3 different directions, 2 of which I know are incorrect. So I do also know that when I did some research on this trail, I know from the top of the cut line where I turn in, I need to go on a head in of about 153 for about 1.4 kilometers. So I've just set up my compass. That's why it's handy to have your trusty compass with you, see? Yeah, so I just set up my compass. 153 is approximate. 180 is obviously the south at the bottom there, and 135 is over there. So I split the difference between them because some clever person left his glasses in the car, so I can't see it accurately anyway, so I know approximately where it is. Yeah, so heading that way. That's why it's handy to have your compass with you. Yeah. Yeah, so I know I need to head 153 that way for approximately 1.4 kilometers. I should go down a small dip through a coal and then up onto another ridge off to my left, which is also on the same heading of 153 with a slight detour around a bit round to the south. So I will head up that way, and this is another great reason. I mean, these forests up around here, I mean, look at them. You could be going anywhere. I know where the sun is, so even without my compass I know which way I've got to go back. I've got to go back that way, but it with my compass, always handy. Yeah, that just verifies that I am correct. I'm there's north over there, so Gleason's Ridge, from this top of this ridge, is almost dead north. Yeah, so I got to go that way. So it's exactly what I would do some more in a bit. Well, isn't this ridge a pickup sticks mess of garbage? Yeah, there's a lot of big trees up here. Unfortunately, I can't clear out a lot of these, so I have put up some marker tape. There's a piece of marker tape there, and down through, I found that was the best way, down through there. I think that's where most people go by the look of it. I put another piece of tape down through there so you can just see where that goes. So if you're one of these leave no trace people, you are welcome to come up here with your chainsaw and clear all this deadfall out of here anytime you like. Failing that, leave the tape where it is, because it stops people wandering down. If you go down that valley, you end up in Death Valley, and you end up in just the middle of bloody nowhere, and that's rough down in there and steep. So sometimes tape is necessary. Bit of tape there, bit of tape down through there. That tree that's across the trail there, I did look at that, but it's absolutely rock solid. It would take me probably half an hour to cut through that with my saw. If it was a green tree, I'd whip that in half, no problem, but unfortunately it is not. So this top piece, as you can see, is a real pickup sticks mess. Somebody has made some effort up in here, because you know, there's cut pieces of tree, there's bits that have been cleared. I did find some pink tape up in here as well, so not sure where all the rest of that went. I did find 2 pieces of pink tape all up through here. It's just a mess along here, but I do know that I need to follow this ridge along, so I ain't too worried about it. And but this ridge is very steep. There's a really steep drop off that side where the cut line is, and there's a really steep drop off that side, so sometimes a bit of tape is a necessary evil, so please leave them where they are. Like I say, if you want to move them, please come up here with your chainsaw. And I'd be up here for a month of Sundays cutting this stuff. This stuff has been down for a very long time. I'm clearing out what I can, doing what I can to make the trail a little bit more obvious, because it splits all over the show where people have tried to find ways through it. So down through there looks like the way I'm going to go. So let me see what I can find. And although it's a real pain in the rear end to get up here, I've tried to use rock can markers where I can. I have had to put up a little bit of tape through the trees here because there's trails everywhere. It's very easy to wander off either side of this ridge, that's for sure. But look at that for a view. Yeah, I'll take that. That little lump there that looks like a tiny little speck is actually Mount Hoffman. That's where I was the other week. Yeah, looks tiny from here, doesn't it? Chingalasha and all that lot over there. Yeah. Looks bloody small from here, but I can assure you it's not. That's actually a very nice view. There's some nice views along this piece, there really is. Once you're up that cut line, this is actually very pleasant up here. I like this, this is nice. I'm just going to put one more little bit of tape on this tree here, and that should be enough for this entire section, I should think. Right, this gives you an idea of how steep it is down that side. That's why it's very important to stay on this ridge. Right, so that is down there. That's looking out towards Calgary, actually. Yeah, very steep, isn't it? I've cleared a few off of here. There was a couple. This one was just about head height. So that one I cleared off. Just chucked a bit over there. But, right, up here a little ways. I will get my compass out again, and I will double check my bearing just to make sure I'm good. That one there I'll take off because that's a good marker tree, because it looks like we're going to do some hopscotch here in a minute. Let me get out my compass and come back for that one. Let me just get up the top of this little piece of ridge here. There we go. Right, where I need to head is that hill. Light's right on my blade there. that hill right in the distance, that's where I need to go, is down into this coal, follow this along, and then up over that ridge. So let me just double check that. This is why it's easy to get lost up in here, because I know where I'm going because the road is that way, so it doesn't matter which way I go, I'll eventually bump into the road. However, it's better if we stay on trail. So let me just come round with my compass again. Let's have a look. Yeah, I gotta go exactly that way. Yes, nice. Down there. So that hill in the distance, that one over there, is the one I've got to go up. That looks like a lot of up. I was hoping I'd done most of it up for this trip. There is a shortcut down through the valley, but I really don't want to do that because that's bloody steep. So it's up through here, it's kind of just make it up as you go along. There's no easy route through this. There's a reasonable route, and I have marked it, so we'll go from there. Right, up this trail, up near one of the tops, don't know which top this is, I've no idea, you're going to come across this mess, and you can go off to the side there or off to there. It goes to the same place. Basically, I suspect the original trail went straight up the hump there, but you can go off left and right, and there's all a myriad of trails that people have made through there just to kind of go round. And where I need to head now is down through that way. Right, on I go. Well, this piece along here is very pleasant. I'm enjoying this walk. These big boulders off the trail. There we go. Yeah, this bit's is really easy to follow. Yeah. How steep that is down there. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm glad I ain't going down that. Unfortunately, at the end of this trail, I do have to go down a very steep bank. It is as steep as what I'm looking at, but it's grass and it's open. So I know there's a few zigzags up there because people have come up there many times, but I'm actually in my welly boots because I anticipated it being a lot wetter up in that piece that I was on, up through trail 18. But in all honesty, it actually wasn't that bad. There's a couple of bits that would have been interesting to get across in my normal hiking boots, but it generally speaking, not bad at all. I could have easily done it hop, skip and jump. In fact, knowing what I know now, I would not have worn my welly boots. However, this time of the year up in here, you never know. We had some torrential rain recently. See volcano out through there. Okay, yep, there's a hill out there called volcano. I just saw that. That's cool. Right, so follow this ridge along. There's a pretty well worn braided blur in every direction you can imagine, but it doesn't really matter because it goes the direction I want to go. I just checked my compass, it's about 153-ish again, so we'll head this way. Very shortly I'm going to have to get up in these trees and put my hat on. It's very easy to get out places like this and forget your hat. I do have it with me. Right, let me have a look over these hills. What do we have here? That looks like Bandy Peak. If that's Bandy Peak, then if that's banded over there, then if that's banded, that must be Glasgow. Could well be, yes, just different angle. Looks like it. I've come from up there on the top of that ridge. I've got to go up over the top of this little bit and then cut down and then up another hill. Yuck. Yeah. Right, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to put my hat on, have a drink of water. Right, just going to head into the trees. I've just come that way. One last look along here. It's very nice. Just going to head into the trees over here. I have put my hat on. So my buddy in England would now be calling me Dave the Prat with the hat. Very long story, I'm not going to go into that. That became my nickname for a while. Right, let's make sure I put all my tools away. I put all my saws and that away because it doesn't look like too much deadfall in that along this piece. And this looks very well trodden, so I don't need to do anything along here. I do know I need to head up across the top of this one. In the Kananaskis guides, they number the hills like 1 to 5 or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, something like that. I have no idea what number this is, couldn't tell you, can tell you it's very nice. I'm glad I came at it. I like to do these trails. Those people I was talking to earlier on, first people I've ever seen up in here, ever. It's the piece I'm coming up to, a bit further down that way, probably a kilometre or two down that way. Yeah, you're going to find a lot of people up there, especially on a day like today. It's one of them Instagram spots. You'll see when I get there, see what I mean. Right, on I go. Right, I found myself on top of another lump. The end of this lump, I think I have to swing round left a little. So we'll find out in a minute. Look at that, isn't that nice? I'll take that. This sun is nice-ish. It's better now I have my hat on. Always, always, always remember to bring your hat. So I have to cut across here. The only good thing, this ridge I'm on, this is called Windy Point. I can tell you now, it's a very correctly named place because, yeah, it's crocus hiding under the tree. Hello, crocus. Who are you? Yeah. So I have to kind of disappear down and up over that hill, over that way somewhere. So I'm kind of hoping that I will find some kind of reasonable route across. It's a very well trodden trail, this. I know a lot of people do Gleeson Ridge. Not a lot of people do the route that I came up, but a lot of people do Gleeson Ridge, which is where this goes. So I should come down into a bit of a coal here in a minute, and then I should bear round slightly left if my memory map is good, and it should be. So I'll follow this along for a while. This is extremely pleasant. I don't care where this goes, it's actually very nice. Yeah, goes in my general direction, so I'll take it. Oh yeah, look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo. Right, trees are changing, getting into the smaller alpine trees, which means I'm coming to the end of this knoll bit. Ooh, big pile of rocks. Oh, somebody been here. That is a big pile of rocks. Now, why do we have a big pile of rocks? We have a large pile of rocks. Ah, and a suspicious looking trail that heads off in the direction I need to go. But I do see some bits have been cleared off of there as well. So I have two choices, because I do know that a lot of people come up what's called foreign grade, and then they come up the back way to here to go along the Instagram route. So that could be the route down to foreign grade, which means and it goes down the other one, which means I don't want to go that way. This great big pile of rocks, I think, should be my clue. I see a bunch of cut off pieces on those branches on there, on that down one. So yes, one big pile of rocks. I suspect that's an important junction, hence the effort that went into making that. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, we've got the G7 summit coming up soon, and that's actually going to be the far side of those mountains. Next mountain, actually two mountain ranges over that way. As the crow flies, roughly that way. Yeah, they got that road all closed off down in there now. You can't pretty much go down there until the meeting's over. I can't think when it is. I think it's the 7th of June or something. So, but they do have it all closed off at the moment, I think. So, yeah, for security reasons and that, I believe Mr. Zelensky is coming. You are very welcome. If you ever watch this video, Mr. Zelensky, you are very welcome in Canada. Thank you for coming. The other idiot that might be coming is not welcome at all. So I'll get off the politics. I'm sure you know who I mean. Right, on I go. I'll go that way. So back at the big rock pile, the trail that goes over there that somebody's cleared the piece of disappears into nothing very, very quickly. However, this piece here, there's an old piece of flagging, this piece here, and there's a cut piece, does kind of go, I'm supposed to go 1.4 kilometers and then kind of head round to the left. I kind of have to do one of those and then back up the hill. And I just saw a gap up through the hills, and the hill that I want is actually up over that way. So I'm going to go down this one and explore it and see where it goes. Well, that bit's a bit of a mess. Where you turn off by that big rock pile, you do turn left there. As you're facing south, you turn left. You go down there, and it kind of does a little bit of a U-shaped piece. And there's some pink tape. Now I've come back up the ridge. The pink tape is right down the bottom of this ridge. When you come along 17A, which is over that way, that's facing north. 17A comes along a ridge. It is not the same ridge that Windy Point is up. You have to kind of go down a dip through a coal up the other side, and you'll see another ridge on your left hand side as you're heading south. Or if you were heading up this trail to find 17A, you'd head along here. This looks a fairly well worn path along the top of here. Where it goes I don't know, because I just literally just came straight up that. But I couldn't find the other end of the trail down there, so not sure where that is, but it's very simple. You just go along this ridge a little ways. You're going to go around the corner, down the hill, back up onto the next ridge, which is off to your left, and then you're going to follow the top of that ridge, and that will take you all the way along 17A. Now that is a nice view. Yeah, all down through there I can see the gas plant out over that way, so I know that's out towards the Ware Creek area. Calgary's way in the distance, right about there on the camera. All this down through here, this is all, this hill down here that you can see, this is all foreign grade and Death Valley and all that kind of there. But Calgary's literally right out about there. I can see it, but it ain't going to show up on this camera, not at all. However, once you gain this ridge, it's literally, I just come straight up the hill, probably 200 meters, if that, 100 meters, 150, 200, something like that, not much. I just literally, once I got in the bottom of that valley, it goes around like a, it's kind of like an S, and it's on one of the corners of the S, I lost the track, couldn't even see it. There's so many animal tracks down in there, it's just not funny. So either way, I just come straight up the hill, because I know I need to be on this ridge. I'm on the ridge. This is called Wind Ridge for a reason. Look at this. Oh, that breeze is so nice on a hot day. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, very, very nice indeed. Right, so I now need to head south, which is that way. Yeah, my compass was actually pretty good. I had it set roughly about right, which is not bad considering some idiot forgot to put his glasses in his backpack, so he couldn't actually read the numbers on it. So whatever. I know the quarters, and I know each subdivision, so yeah. Yeah, 1945 is 135, so somewhere between southeast and south is roughly where I needed to go, so that's exactly what I did. Yeah, so yeah, some people using the compass, they're paranoid about making sure they're on exactly the right heading and all this kind of stuff. It's great if you need to do that, but if you don't, you've got general direction, it's pretty good. It just stops you going in completely the wrong direction. Right, so now I need to head south, which is that way. The things you find, eh? Oh, firing. Somebody had a bloody campfire up here, for God's sake. Bit of a weird spot for a campfire, that I can tell you. Yeah, look how steep that is down there. That's almost a cliff. I bet you that cliff's out down there. Yeah. Something's been scratching that tree there too. It's about the right height for a bear too. There's some big scrape marks in the thing there. Yeah, they high mark the trees, the bears do. Somebody had a campfire here once. Now I suspect that was their firewood pile. Christ knows why you'd have a fire up here. There's certainly no water up here to put it out if you needed to. Yeah, yeah, bit of a stupid place for a fire, but whatever. Yeah, I like to, if I'm having campfires, I like to have a really adjacent, what's that, water source right next to me. Talking of water source, I'm going to have a drink of water in a minute, because I've noticed I'm getting a little stumbly. Yeah, so let's get back on the trail. This ridge, basically, as long as you stay on the ridge, down both sides of this ridge is like insanely steep. Like off to my left, I wouldn't be at all surprised to find that cliff's out in there somewhere. Yeah, it is really steep. You're almost looking down vertical. But this trail along the top of here, it's really, really pleasant, really nice. Right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop, have a quick glug of water, and then. Because once I'm out in the sunshine, I've got no more cover until I get back to the road. Right, just come along the ridge there. I'm now coming to some down, which is a bit of a pain because I know that the last part of that hill is up. So everything I lose here, I've got to gain in a minute. God, that sucks, doesn't it? It's trouble with mountains. Too much up in mountains. Mountains should be flat. I guess they wouldn't be mountains then. Yeah, they'd be prairies. Right, so I've got to lose some elevation in order to gain some elevation. Lovely, eh? Oh, yuck. So I've just lost, as I was saying, a huge amount of elevation, and it goes down through there and over there. I think that's where I've got to gain it again. Okay. Yeah, I've just lost probably pretty much that amount of elevation. Well, that sucks. Oh well, either way, it's a nice walk and I've got a fantastic breeze now. It's really nice. On I go. Right, well, even though I've got to gain a bit in a minute, I have to say this is a nice spot. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm liking this. This is very nice. Yeah. Huh. Well, I can see the Sheep River Road over there. Blue Rock Mountains and all that lot. That is Glasgow over there. Yeah, that one I can see over there, that's Glasgow and Banded Peak. So we got Outlaw, Coventry and all that kind of good stuff along there. Excellent. Ooh, this looks steep. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's steep. Both sides of this ridge are insanely steep. They really are. Yeah. But as long as you stay along the top of the ridge, there's a million little pathways that kind of wander off here, there and everywhere. But it's you can see saw cuts and everything. Oh, here comes some more of that breeze. Hope I have some of that breeze for climbing this bloody hill that's coming up. I keep seeing glimpses of it through the tree and I'm like, ah. Sometimes it's better if you can't see it. But yes, right, steep down there. I'm heading that way, which is approximately south. Well, that's the sucky bit over. I was all the way at the top of that one over there, then I went all the way back down, and now I've come all the way back up. The good news is, whichever way I look through the trees, I can see openness, which means I'm on the top of something. Hopefully I'm where I need to be. If not, I've got a long walk. I'm pretty certain I'm where I am. Yeah. So where I came this morning, it was way down in the bottom of the valley, off down through the bottom of there. Whew, dearie me. Yeah, I keep seeing places that I know out in the mountains, little clearings, and I know a lot of these little clearings and that out here. That one over there I know. That one over there I know. If you head up that valley, that's Trail 19, heading north. The mountains directly in front of me here, that's like Dot Mountains over there, and Missing Link and all that kind of good stuff's over there. So that'll be popular today. A lot of people will be up Missing Link, I should think. Right, now in theory I should be at the top of where I need to be, because I can see daylight and sky 360 degrees around me through the trees. So I have to be close to the top, or I'm on a top, put it that way. This may not be the top, it may be a top. It's the top of the one that I could see just now that I was going yuck. So yeah, there is a secret to walking up. I see people struggling get up steep hills. I mean, I struggle to get up steep hills. I do what I call my 25 stop, but also I do little paces. So if I'm walking, I walk like this. If I'm going up a steep hill, lots and lots of little paces, and I'll tell you what, you actually get up there pretty quick. If you take long strides like I'm doing now, you take long strides, you get so tired, and your backpack, like I say, my gear today is about 25-30 pounds, but your backpack just starts to weigh like 9 tons. So yeah, lots and lots of little steps. Oh, hang on. Ooh, this is not good. More down. Oh dear. So it would appear I'm on the top of something, but not the top I need to be on. Crap. Oh, there was. I'll tell you what though. This area is called Windy Point for a reason. And although it's a hot day today, I think it's going to be like 25, something like that, 25, 26, something like that. I think it's the hottest day of the year so far. we've got some really nice weather coming up, so I shall be out in the mountains again somewhere tomorrow. No idea where yet, but definitely somewhere. And I did think about camping out here actually, but I do have everything I need. I'll see. But this ridge is really easy to follow, and as you can see, there's loads of old saw cuts. There's saw cuts everywhere along here, so that's actually really nice, because I haven't had to move very much on here at all, which is very pleasant. I could clear a whole bunch out on 18, and there's still more on 18. There's still loads more I could do on 18. Ooh, look at that for a view. Oh yeah. Remember I said these things, it probably cliffs out. Look how steep that is. Holy smokes. Yeah, you don't climb down that, you fall down that. Wow. I tell you what though, it's a struggle to get up here, but isn't that worth it? Woohoo! I'll take that. Remember just now when I said, oh, I'm up. I think I'm all the way up to where I need to be. Not so much. I could go up there. Oh, bugger off. Yep, I got to go up that. Well, that sucks. So I was on top of something, not quite sure what, but it was definitely a something. Oh, hang on a minute, I know where this valley goes. Huh. This valley off to my right here, that one down there, I know exactly where that goes. Oh, okay. So, on a law of averages, the amount of ups that I've done, there can't be many more along here. They really can't. We're going to run out of bloody ridge here in a minute. Yeah, because I know where this goes. I know exactly where that goes. In fact, if I went straight down there, it would actually take me straight back to my car. However, I do want to do the pictures from the top of that ridge. So guess what? I guess I'm heading up the ridge. So I know in the terms of mountains and stuff, we have to have up. Otherwise they'd be flat, right? So I went up that ridge. There's another ridge through the trees over there. That's the one I was on. Saw this one and thought, oh, that's the top. It's not, it is a top. Yeah, it's not the top. Over there, that's Dot Mountain. Yeah. Tell you what though, it's getting puffed out on the trail. It's a really good excuse to stop and do some video. And if that's not nice, I know it's a pain in the ass to get up here. It absolutely knackers you getting up here. However, you can't odds it. That is stunningly amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely stunningly amazing. Yeah. What an amazing part of the world we live in. Yes. Can't odds that. Can't odds that at all. Over there, that's where I was the other weekend. Sat on top of that mountain over there. Yeah. That's Mount Hoffman. I was sat on top of there. That was very nice. That's a nice place to sit. Because then you've got all like Shangri-La-Shi, Jägermeister, the what's that? Gibraltar looks different from here. It gives you a different angle on it. Yeah, but right. So I will continue up. And I can tell you now, this camera does not do this justice. There's going to be quite a lot of 25 stops before I get to the top of this one. Okay, I need to stop for a rest. I sure as hell ain't 20 anymore. Right, so I've just come up that. So from here you go down there, up that peak, down that one, up that peak, along that ridge. You then come back down the side of that ridge. You don't go all the way along that ridge. If you go all the way along that ridge, you've gone the wrong way. You go along that ridge quite a distance, and then you're going to peel down it, and over there right on the horizon you can see another peak. That's where that junction is, 17A junction, where the cut line is. That's at the top of that peak, way over there in the distance. So that's where I've come from. So although this trail is only, I think if you look on the map, it's only about 9-10 kilometers in total distance, like on map distance, but the amount of distance and up and down that you walk is actually quite considerable. So as if somebody's interested in a workout kind of trail, I tell you what, This trail gives you a bloody good workout. It is steep up in here in places, but I'll tell you what, it makes it worthwhile. I've got my hat off. Always make sure you wear a hat. I know when you're up in places like this you don't like to wear hats because it gets too bloody hot, but I can tell you now, out in the sun, wear a hat, because when you take it off you feel so much better because you've got that nice cool breeze. But if you don't wear a hat out there, that sun will get you and it can really cause a lot of problems. So I'm just going to swap this battery out because I've noticed it's now orange, no longer green. So I will swap this out before it dies, and then I will continue on my way. So for the navigation people, the hill you want for the top of the cut line, if I sight up straight through there, it's about 320. I'll make it about 320 degrees. Not bad. I haven't got my glasses on, but if I sight up straight through there, get off, fly. If I sight up straight through there onto the hill that you need for the get off for the sight line, bloody flies are a pain in the arse as soon as you stop. Yeah, so yeah, about 320 degrees. You'll see one big lump, and then behind it, just to the left of it, you'll see another lump. That's where you're heading. About 320. Yeah, right. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I had to come into the trees to film it because the mirror was reflecting very badly off of the compass. Right, let me swap this battery out and have a drink of water. Right, and this is why this is called Windy Point. The great big square parking lot that holds 1 billion cars is down there, that tiny little speck. That hill across the other side of there, that's all foreign grade. And this is the Instagram spot. This is where everybody comes here. Holy, hang on to your hats, Batman. Hoo, hoo, hoo. I'll take that breeze. Oh my goodness. Now the problem is, right, all that elevation I've gained, there's the road all the way down there, right, and I've got to lose all this elevation very quickly down there. So getting down this hill can actually be a bit more of a pain than getting up it. I do have my knee brace with me. I have one of those elasticated knee braces for exactly such hills as this, because although it's a pain in the arse coming up hills, I do actually find it easier on the legs going uphill than downhill. So yes, that's where I've got to get. I'm actually parked off the edge. There's a cliff over there. I'm actually parked at the bottom of that cliff. So that's the way I've came. Oh, I'm not sure if the wind's going to get this. I'm not sure if you're even going to be able to hear this because the wind's just like ah. And this is exactly why this is called Windy Point, right? It sure as hell lives up to its name. I've never been down through this piece of valley down through here and it not be windy. It's like it funnels. But I now have to go all the way down here in welly boots. So I will get across to the really scenic bit, as I call it, and I'll do some more when I get there. Right, so I've just come down there. That's the peak beyond Windy Point. Like I say, that's all foreign grade and all that over there. It up through here, another little bit of up. Then I get up to the Instagram point. Yeah. Oh, had enough of up today, but I can honestly say I'm not looking forward to the down. It is steep as hell. Yeah. I have seen people running up and down that slope. I've parked in that little parking lot down the bottom there, and I have actually seen people running up and down here. So whatever the hell those people have for breakfast, you might want to let me know, because I struggle to get up here. I struggle to get back down too. Right, almost at the very top. Now this is the top. There are no more tops. This is it. Dun, dun, dun. Oh. The last bit of up, other than that bit over there. Oh. That doesn't really count because that's more of a bump. Right, and this is why everybody comes here. Yeah, I can't go too close to the edge because this is actually a cliff. But this is why people come here. Look at that. Isn't that something? Yeah, that is the money shot right there. Yeah. stand over by this tree because the wind is so strong. I literally had to tie my hat on. There's the road down there. That's how much elevation I've got to lose. There's a motorbike going on there now. That's how much elevation I've got to lose off this hill. So that's where I'm going next, over the top of that one, and then down. Oh. Those people that I bumped into this morning came up this way and then took the loop around. They said they like doing trails that not many people use. Well, they certainly picked a damn good trail to do that, because they are the first people I've ever seen up there. I've seen footprints, I've seen one other video, Mark at the trail did a video. He actually came up this way and went back that way, but he missed the top of the trail where the cut line is. I can totally see why now. It's a bit of an easy one to miss. Yeah, that's why you don't stand too close to that edge, because it is a cliff. Yeah. And it's a round cliff, so very easy to fall off. It's not a vertical cliff, it's a round one. You look like you're safe, but you're not. So be very, very careful. Look at all the aspen up here. There ain't no way an aspen tree is going to survive up here. It's going to snap like a carrot. Right, I can head up there. It's a nice spot though, eh? Yeah. You can see why people come up here to do their Instagram pictures, but you want this picture, you got to work for it. You've got to work for it, I tell you. There ain't no easy way getting up here to get this picture. You're either toe crunching up a hill, or you're walking about 10 kilometres the way I've just gone. So, oh, the wind. The thing is, I've got this wind all the way to the bottom too. But you do have to be careful near this edge, because it can get extremely gusty up here. You can suddenly get a really strong gust, and you do not want to be falling off that. Yeah, I've got to go down there. Damn. Oh well, I got myself up here. I've got to get myself back down. Look at that, as soon as you're in the tree, no wind. And doing this in Wellington boots is probably not wise. See, people are always tempted to go down on bits like that, try and get their extra pictures and all that. Please don't, because this stuff is very loose, shiny garbage. This is. It doesn't take much for this to fall apart. And this edge along here literally goes right along the cliff, so I'm timing my walks across the gaps with the wind and lulls. I had to tie my hat on because my hat literally got blown off. And it's a fairly tight fit too. It is nice though, eh? Yeah. Good spot for something to eat. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to find me a gap over here somewhere that's a little bit out the wind, and I'm going to sit down and have something to eat before I start descending. Right, this spot here looks good to me. This looks like a Dave lunch spot. Ooh, right, we have some food. I haven't eaten a great deal, but I need to eat something because I need some energy to get down this hill. Right, let's put this away for a bit. I'm going to sit with my feet over the edge of this. Just roll. Nice spot to stop though, eh? How long's that? Tore a hole in my sleeve. Another one here. Find my way through the brush going up that cut line. That was bad. Get a good view from up here though, I'll tell you. I'm just debating getting my knee brace out, putting that on. Very aptly named place, isn't it? Yeah. This is the top of the hill, so I am going to dig out my knee brace, I think. Slide that on. A lot of these elastic ones, they're really good. They just give you that little bit of extra support in your knee, because the last thing you want to do is twist your knee going down here, especially in Wellington boots. So let me get off this wind. So literally you go 5 feet off of the ridge, and next to no wind in here. Right, let me dig out that knee brace and put that on. Right, make sure nothing left behind, just shadows and footprints. I need to try this, put that through one of these carabiners here. There we go. Yes. Now clipped on, can't blow off. But, yeah, one last look at that. Bloody amazing, isn't it? There's that one big rock right on that corner. I'm sure that's going to come down one day, and it'll probably make its way all the way down to the bloody road too, so that's going to be a bad one. Yeah. Right, so that feels better on my knee. If I didn't have welly boots on, I wouldn't have bothered. But I've got my welly boots on, and going down extremely steep slopes in Wellington boots is probably not the wisest thing you could possibly do. However, neither is wading through thick mud on the way up here in normal hiking boots. So I came up and, ooh, right, hang on to your hats, people. Holy crap. That whistling noise you can hear is actually the sound of the wind blowing across the handles of my big loppers. Yeah. You get a picture on the side here. I just the trail actually goes off down the other way. Just going to get a picture here. That's as close as I'm going. Yeah, nice, isn't it? You can see why all the Instagram-y people come up here. Yeah. Right, I've got to get all the way down to that road, and it descends pretty fast. Now I believe there are 2 trails here. I believe there's a foresty one, and then there's a danger one. Let's have a look, see if the foresty one is less steep. Yeah, this is the foresty one. That's also the less windy one, so I can kind of cut across. I can just parallel the surface here. Yeah. There's a million trails down here. Look at it. There's trails everywhere down here. But I'm going to take the wimp route. I do not want to be falling down a really steep grass bank, so I will take the wimpy foresty bit. A lot more zigzaggy. However, zigzaggies are good when you're trying not to fall off or something. Yeah. Up through here on the back, so this slope, you'll find loads and loads of little pathways and bits that people have tried to find less steep routes up the hill. I can tell you now, there isn't one. So because this is seriously steep, and trust me, this camera does not do this justice. I'm literally on the balls of my feet. I'm going to put this camera away until I get down there a bit further. Right, so I am taking the wimp route down the mountains, and if you look out there in that clearing, see that big dark shape out there? Not sure what that is, but it looks like there's 3 of them. That's a grizzly bear and cubs. That fucking sucks. I wonder if that's the same bear I saw the other day, excuse my French. See it down there in that clearing? So I need to head down this way. I'm going to be considerable distance. Yeah, that's definitely a bear and cubs. Bugger. See them? Right down there in that green clearing down there. Yep, that's mum and cubs. Right, I'm going to head down to my left and right, so because there is a mum and cubs down in there, you can see the brown lumps there. Looks like she's got 2 cubs definite that I can see, maybe 3. I'm not sure, looks like maybe 3. But that is somewhere you don't want to be. That is a big grizzly bear. That's a mummy grizzly bear and cubs right down there. Now she won't hear me from here, but she might. Mind you, the wind's blowing the other way. She's not going to get a scent of me there. Right, she's heading off towards the trees. See her down there? Cubs are following her, so that's good. I've had to take a bit more of a direct route down. I was hoping to kind of go down that valley where she is, but I'm going to have to go down this way now, which is a damn sight steeper, which is a real pain in the rear end. However, I have no choice. I can't go that way. So either way, oh well. So it's 2 bear sightings in there, and I'm wondering if that's the same bear that I came across literally last weekend, because it's the same kind of area. When she goes down through those trees, if she goes down through the valley off to her left, that is exactly where I saw that bear the other week. So I would not be at all surprised to find that's the same bear. So I'm going to keep an eye on her. I'm going to head down that way. It's a lot steeper, but I've got to go that way. So mum is off up the top of that valley. She's now seen me because I'm in the middle of nowhere. I have nowhere to go. I do have to go straight down this bloody hill, which is steeper than I thought. It's not the way I wanted to go. But she's up there, she's got cubs with her. She'll perceive anything as a threat. So that's why I'm going this way, away from her, so as you can see I'm going away from her. She's literally right up there in that V, where that tree is, up over there. She stood there looking at me now. I'm betting you that is the same bear that I saw last week. This is exactly the same area. Oh, this is bloody hard on your feet. She's not likely to come down the hill because she's got cubs with her, so she won't put her cubs in danger. Yeah, so we'll just head down this way, try not to fall over on the rocks, and we go from there. Well, it is very cool and sucky at the same time, because I just had to come down a really steep piece. It's not the way I wanted to come down there at all, but I am almost back down at the road, so that's good. She's way up the top of the hill. As I came down there, I kept an eye on her, make sure she wasn't coming down the hill. She's not very likely to if she's got cubs with her, because she'll be putting her cubs in danger. Because cubs, it's not the mum I'm not too worried about, because they're usually smart, they've usually seen people, they usually know to stay away from people. But the cubs are insanely curious, and they will come and take a look, which is not good, because mum doesn't like that, obviously. And she then will perceive people as a threat, which is why it's a damn good idea not to bring your dogs when you come up places like this. I know people like to bring their dogs out for a walk, but now that situation there, if I'd have had a dog with me and the bear had spotted that, and that bear happened to be hungry, a 4-legged fluffy thing, a bear knows his food, right? And that can actually put you in danger just by having your dog with it. Even if your dog's on a leash, you are more likely to have a bear encounter if you have a dog with you than if you don't. So it's a perfect example as to why you don't. Yeah, so the bear's way the hell off up the top of that hill now, so that's good. That is not the route I wanted to come down in Wellington boots, I can tell you. But I'm just having a rest because my feet hurt. I'm almost back at the road, and then I'll do some more when I get down there. Right, I've just come back down the hill. Nearly back at the bottom. This is the gate you go through. There's the road. I can tell you now, it's bloody warm. So I'm going to call that the end of the video, and I'm going to head home now. See if I can let Parks know there's a mum and 3 cubs up there. Right, on I go.